I tell this story too much. It's practically half the things I say at this point. Every time I have this conversation, it always goes the exact same, so you will probably hear this story a lot. But I'm going to tell it here because I think it's the first time I've really ever told it content-wise, so might as well. One of the most popular icebreakers is asking people, what's your greatest fear? And mine is always been bees. Bugs are just dumb as it is. You see, what are they called? Grasshoppers, who, whenever they see you, they just decide to take off without really thinking about where they're going. And so half the time they just fly into whatever they're afraid of because they forget to turn their head 90 degrees. But bees and wasps, they're smarter than that. And they're harder than that because they have a stinger. They have a sword on the end of their tail. And wasps are even worse because apparently they can sting multiple times and it hurts more. So there's that, but I've never been stung by a wasp. But every time I tell people this, they always go, oh, it's okay as long as you don't threaten the bee. It only does it when it feels threatened. Well, the first time I was stung by a bee, this was not the case because I was on a school trip. It was quite far away, not too far, and it was kind of just in the middle of a field. Imagine a stadium, but get rid of the stadium part and then make it a lot smaller. And it was just kind of a walled-in field, and it was very tiny. And at one point, we were supposed to be really quiet because people were doing things. They were kind of performing. A bee flew into my shirt, and it stung me right in the chest, and it fell to the ground. And I panicked. This has never happened to it. I just felt a pain, and then I looked down, there's a bee on the floor that just fell out of my shirt. So I step on the bee, of course. I know, it's a little cruel, but come on, man. I had no idea what was happening. And I don't really know what to do. It takes me a few seconds to realize what is going on, because this has never happened before. So I turn to the person next to me, and I go, I think I was just stung by a bee. And they look at me dead in the eyes, and they say, are you serious? And I say, yes. And they go, well, go tell a teacher or something. I don't really know what to do either. I actually go to one of the guides who was on this trip. There was really one teacher who was busy. I didn't even know where they were, and a couple of parents who had volunteered. This was the only guy around, though. All the other volunteers were getting lunch or something. And I say, hey, I think I just got stung by a bee. And he looks back at me and says the words, don't worry, I'm a beekeeper in my spare time. You cannot make this up. I have no idea what was going on. Maybe the bee venom was getting to my brain, but this was just so surreal. And he looks at me and he says, are you allergic to bee stings? And I didn't really know whether or not I was. I'd never been stung by a bee up to this point. I've been so cautious. And I say, I have no idea. And I go, what do I do? And he goes, all right, lift up the shirt. And I lift up my shirt, and he cleans it and then gives me an ice pack. And he's inspecting it. He's like, hey, don't worry. There's no stinger in you. If there's a stinger in you, we'd have a crazy problem. If there was a stinger in you, we'd have so many problems on our hand. It would be unreal. We'd probably have to leave this whole event. And I go, okay, that's good. And he says, go to the bathroom. You can call your parents or something. So I go to the bathroom. And I look at my own bite in the mirror. It was a little higher up, so I couldn't really see it without looking in the mirror. And I look closely, and the stinger is still there. Sorry if this is a bit gross to hear. It won't be for much longer. I didn't really know what to do, so I just got it out and called my mother, who apparently didn't know I was on this trip. And she's like, "Oh, you're just at school. We can come get you." I was like, "No, mother. I'm actually quite farther than that." And she was very upset. But since then, I haven't had many other experiences with bees or of that nature. But that experience, it just made me very scared of them. I remember one time there was a wasp in my room, and I didn't really know what to do. So I got a bucket. Honestly, don't know why I had a bucket. I waited for it to fly in, and then I just put a large piece of paper on the bucket. And I took the bucket outside, and I didn't really know what to do from here because the wasp would probably be angry. So I took the bucket outside, and I just kind of threw it. Wasp has wings, so surely it would be fine. I wouldn't be if I had stayed there, though. Besides that, I don't really have much to say. Or at the time of recording this, I'm at 1.6K on the main channel, so thank you for that. Is this the downfall of Minecraft really kicked off? And, quite proud of it. There were a lot of mistakes. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I'm sorry. I'm working on some things. This is probably a very short one. I'm going to try and do more stuff here. Yeah, so see ya.